Welcome back to Mac Talks Football, and Roma have just won the derby against Lazio 1-0. So let's go ahead and talk about this game. If I'm being very honest with you, it was sort of a letdown at that game. Being the first derby of the season, I expected quite a fiery game. If I'm being very honest with you, but it did not live up to my expectations. Especially, that first half it was really boring. It was quite a flat game, especially in that first half. I'm gonna say it, quite a. I felt like going to sleep. It was so boring in that first half, and being you don't really expect this in a game like this. It's a derby. It's a Lazio versus Roma. It's the first derby again of the season, and it's a day game as well. So you expect the players to be really up for it. The fans are really into it. I would give full credit to the atmosphere in the stadium. The Lazio fans were really loud. The Roma fans were really vocal, and it is sort of expected the fans were really going to be up for it, and you expected the players to be up for it. But that first half, I think, especially Lazio were really poor. It felt like they were sleepy. It was really poor on the field from both sides. I think they were both quite cautious. But they were quite scared in a way to take risks, which really surprised me, knowing both Sarri and Gasperini. You sort of expected Sarri to be a bit defensive, but you expected Gasperini to go ahead and take the game to Lazio. But even he, the way they set up the team, it felt like they both were just waiting to see how the other team is going to react. Both of them were waiting for the other one to throw the first punch, and then they were going to go ahead and react. And that sort of felt in that first half, and it sort of destroyed the game in my opinion, because there was no fluidity from both sides. Lazio, especially, I would say they were really poor in that first half. There was no communication, there was no cohesion between them. They really barely created anything in that first half. Roma, even though they were not really good, I still thought they were playing quite better, much better than Lazio. They created a couple of good chances, and they ended up scoring as well. Pellegrini gets the all important goal in that first half, and becomes 1-0. And after that, the goal goes in. The game really starts to open up, and again it was Roma who took the initiative even after scoring the goal. I think second half was much better. I think the game really opened up in that second half. Both the teams really went up, went up for it in that second half. Roma, again, they started the second half on top. I think the first 15 to 20 minutes it was all Roma, and Lazio had to really defend for their lives. I think that was the moment. If Roma could have scored in those 15 to 20 minutes, I think the game could have been done and dusted early on. But the other thing is, they created quite a lot in that first 15-20 minutes, but they were in control as well. But there was no, the final product was missing from Roma in the in that period of time. They would create chances, they would get closer and closer, but they were not really able to have that final ball or have that final pass that would create that chance, and that would end up in a goal. They really did not have that. Lazio, on the other hand, as I said, they had to defend for their lives. They had a massive chance, in that second half, a one-on-one chance where they ended up missing. I could not really believe, they missed that chance. And even and after that, I would say in the last 20 to 25 minutes, I think after that cooling break, that's when Lazio really stepped up in the last 15-20 minutes. That's when the game really opened up, and Lazio started and creating, chances. And I really thought, they might end up, equalizing, but it was not going to be there. They hit the crossbar as well, and it just showed, they were quite late to the game, to the party, and in a way, they really did not deserve to win this game. If I'm being very honest with you, they ended up being down to 10 men, and Guendouzi gets a red card after the game as well. So in the end, it really did not go according to the plan of Lazio, losing the game, losing two guys as well. So in my opinion, it was a deserved win for Roma. I think they created more, they showed more ambition, they showed more desire in that game. If it's a derby game, you need players to really step up. I don't think, in my opinion, I don't really think either of the team really stepped up, for the occasion. As for such a big game, you really, want the teams to go out and, fight for each other and fight to get the 3 points. I don't think either of them really did that, but I would say Roma did enough as compared to Lazio. I think they were much better, but I would still think, in terms of a derby game, it did not really felt like that was a performance for a derby game by either of those two sides. Lazio, I would, and the Roma, you expected, a very good defensive performance from that. And when Lazio were having those chances late on, you really saw why, they have just conceded very few goals in the first of 3 games or 4 games of the season. And again, a great defensive approach, and that is why Gasperini going to Roma was so crucial. I think it is already showing what he's trying to do, and that is why I said Roma are going to have a really good season this time around. And the start they have had, 3 wins in the first 4 games, and now winning the derby game as well. It is going to give them a lot of confidence going forward. And I have said this as well. For me, they could turn out to be a very surprise and a shocking contenders for that Scudetto. They might not win it, but they are going to give a tough fight for Napoli, the holders, and the teams around them who are going to fight for the title. I think Roma have the squad, and I think now they have the managers to really go and have a deep run in that. And they showed today, they did not really play well enough. They were better than their opposition, but they really did not play well enough. But they still ended up winning the game, and they won a massive game as well. Lazio, on the other hand, I said it, in my preview, and I said it in my prediction video as well. I'm not really fan of the Sarri appointment. I really don't think it is, it is really going to help Lazio, and it has shown already. 3 defeats in their first 4 games. It's not looking good for them. They really need to find the rhythm. They are not really able to play good football, and see, it feels like for the most of the games I've seen, I think. It is my third game of Lazio this season. I think I already missed one of their games, and this is the 3rd game that I watched Lazio this season. And there is no rhythm. There's no fluidity. It feels like the players are confused when they are on the pitch, and it feels like they wake up, but they wake up quieter. And the same thing had happened today as well. It has happened in other games as well, where they kind of sleep through it the entirety of that game, and they are just hoping, and they are holding that we are gonna I'll keep playing, trying to keep it simple as much as they can, and then for the last 20 to 30 minutes they try to wake up and they try to play the game. It is not working for them, and I don't know why it keeps on happening. As I said, it's the 3rd time I have watched Lazio this season, and it's the same pattern that I have followed, and that is why they are not getting the results. If you are not going to be active for about 70% of the game, you're not going to get the results. They were lucky that Roma were not really on their form today, and Roma were not that good. Otherwise, it could have turned out to be a really bad day for Sarri and Lazio. They ended up losing the games, still, but it's still a respectable defeat in a derby. 1-0. Derby defeats are never really easy, but if you are losing 1-0, you are still, it is still sort of acceptable, because both teams were poor in my opinion. But as I said, if Roma were on point today, they could have easily, be humiliated Lazio, because Lazio were really poor. I don't really, as I said, the last 10, 15, 20 minutes were the only time where Lazio really stepped up. Apart from that, they were just invisible. It was like they were just chasing shadow. They were just standing up. So Sarri really needs to think about this, and he needs to really adapt quickly. And he's not going to adapt, but he needs to realize, and he needs to change something, because it is not working right now, and Lazio are looking really poor. They are looking worse than last season, so that says something about them. So yeah, not a good game, and not something that I was expecting from the derby. We had 3 derbies in Europe this week. I think the Liverpool Everton was really good. Lazio and Roma, they have really disappointed, and now we look towards the PSG and Marseille one. But for Lazio and Roma, not a good game, but a good result for Roma, and a disappointing start to the season for Lazio continues. That is it from me in this video. Let me know what you guys thought of the game, what you guys thought of Lazio's performance, Roma's performance. Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well. Click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 600 subscribers as quickly as possible, so please go ahead and subscribe and help the channel out. Until next time, bye bye.